Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another CB650R motovlogs video. Today we are going to be riding to work, but also while we're riding I'm going to, so I've owned my bike for 3 months now, a little over 3 months, so I'm going to do kind of like a 3-month review on what I think of the bike. And I will speak for the modifications that are on the bike as well, just in case like people are you know, in the market for the specific things that I've done to my bike. I don't know where you'll find the exhaust. I know it's an eBay exhaust, but I've tried looking for it and I can't find any information about it, so that might be, but anyway, so yeah, I got the bike in February. It's been a few months since I've had it now, and I ride it fairly often. Like I'm on it a few times a week at least. Why is there so much traffic? Something must have happened up here or something. I might go a different way. But overall, my thoughts on the bike, it is especially from beginners, like a learner's perspective, like if you're new to riding, it's a good bike. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't have too much power that it's gonna like toss you off if you mess up a little bit. It is a little forgivable. How, in saying that, obviously there's a limit to that. Like it's gonna throw you off if you're very silly on it. A couple of the negatives that I have to say about the bike. The turning circle is pretty bad on it. If you're from Australia, and more specifically in Sydney, and you've done the most test, and you have to do that U-turn inside the box, this bike, maybe it's me, but this bike couldn't do that. I did have to put my foot down on that. In saying that, I was watching, before I bought the bike, somebody was reviewing it and had said that it doesn't have a very good turning circle. So I came into the bike knowing that it didn't have a good turning circle. Like, it gets me, obviously it gets me around every bend that I need it to get around. But yeah, things like that. I mean, the box turn for the most test, it's not a turn you do every day. Like, for the most part, you can't even do... Oh, that's why there's so much traffic. I slipped into a false neutral, it would appear. Like that box turn isn't a turn you do on a day-to-day basis. If you're from Sydney and you've done the most test, you would know what I'm talking about. Like, you can't do U-turns at most places, and when you can, you've got a much bigger area than that to do it anyway. So that would be one con for me. The other con is a bit of a flat spot in the RPM range. I have mentioned it in a video that there is a dead spot in the 4,000 to 6,000 RPM range. I think it's about 4 to 6. It could be, wait, hold on, didn't they say that this was closed? I didn't read the date, but I thought that's why there was so much traffic. Hasn't rained in a few days. Maybe from the roadworks. Yeah, you notice it sometimes, like you don't, it's not always super noticeable, but sometimes it is more noticeable than others. Like I think, I don't know, maybe when you're really trying to get on it, you can sort of notice it. Like you can hear the RPM climbing, but the speed to RPM rise isn't very linear. Like they're not sort of going hand in hand. You're getting a little bit more they think by merging in slowly that they're doing me a favor. No, you should have stayed in your lane. Like you saw that I was there. Obviously you did, because you waved thank you to me. So yeah, that's like a bit of a con for me. Apparently you can fix that issue by tuning it. Apparently that does get rid of it. It could also be the fact that this is the Lamb's version of the bike, which sort of dumbs it down a bit. That could be a contributing factor as to the bit of a dead spot in the RPM. I'm not 100% sure. Obviously I've never ridden a non-Lamb's version of this bike, so I can't speak for that. But in saying that, the person who did do the review was somebody in America, where they don't have learner approved bikes. Like they've obviously got learner approved bikes, but they don't have the scheme where we have sort of detuned bikes to meet with a regulation. So I don't know, maybe it just is the bike and then it comes like that from factory, and the only way to fix it is to tune it. Honestly not sure. So that would be like another con for me. Apart from that, to be perfectly honest with you, that would probably be it in terms of cons for me. The bike itself is great. I really like the riding position. It's not super upright like most naked bikes. It's a little bit of like a leaned over super sport feel. Obviously not as aggressive as a super sport, but it's got a bit of a sporty position to it, which I really like. It doesn't get tiring. When I've ridden and had super sports in the past, my wrists get a bit tired and sore after a while. This, I don't get that. The only sort of, I get a sore bum after riding a while, and that's not even after like extended rides. That's like me riding home from work, which takes like about an hour and a bit. My bum will start getting sore from that. Again, could be just me. The seat isn't uncomfortable, don't get me wrong. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, so that speaks. I just kind of spoke about two things in one go. You got a bit of a 2-for-1 deal there. The bike has the power when you need it. It sounds great. Like in terms of the learner bikes, and you know, I've mentioned it in a previous video, I've had a lot of them. I've had a lot of bikes, like a lot of learner bikes. I like the sound of the MT-07. The parallel twin does sound nice. Or the crossplane 4, or whatever yes, it's a CP4, the MT-07s. It sounds great. I get a lot of a dirt bike sort of vibe from it, from the sound. you beat that? Like the inline 4 it is the iconic bike sound. Probably the only other real sound that like is as sort of notable is the sound of a Ducati. You know, the V-twin or V4s, whatever their configuration is, and their clutch. But the inline 4 is like the iconic motorcycle sound. You can't beat it, especially when it's high up in the RPM range, like when it's, you know, screaming along. I don't know, for me there's no sound like the inline 4. Everyone's taste is different. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the crossplane sound. I actually, when I first heard it, I loved it. But I think after having a couple of MTS7s, it just gives me a bit of a dirt bike, like a 4-stroke kind of familiarity. You know, growing up riding dirt bikes just reminds me of that. So that's the sound like the sound thing for me. I love the gauge cluster. I actually had someone mention it in the previous video, and go past that friggin' sound, man, come on. The gauge cluster. So before I bought the bike, I watched a bunch of reviews, and one of the biggest things I wanted to look at is what the actual the gauge cluster, dashboard, instrument cluster, whatever you want to call it, what it looked like. Not that it's super important, because it's not, but I don't know. I wanted to look nice. Like if anybody has seen the CB and CBR650F cluster, it's like, I think it's half analog, half digital from memory. Like I think from memory the left hand side is digital, the right hand side is analog, and don't get me wrong, looks nice, but I think this looks amazing. The shift light is such a cool addition to this bike. However, I do need to fix it. I need to raise it up a little bit, just so it's not going off when I'm at like 5,000 RPM or whatever it is. It does go off quite early. So yeah, the dash I really like. Now I'll speak to the modifications that are on the bike. All these modifications again came on the bike. I don't know specific models or where they exactly came from. If I did have to, like, I do know that the exhaust came from eBay. That I do know. The rest of it, yeah, I don't know. So like, I'm sorry if you do ask. I'll do my best to find what looks like a match, but yeah, I won't be able to find the exact same thing. I'll just find something as close as I can. Like I was mentioning before, except the exhaust, I've looked for the exhaust, and I mean, I don't know, because the previous owner bought the exhaust and the exhaust tip separately, and so I have no idea what brand the exhaust is, what material it's made out of, nothing. I don't know anything about the exhaust. But for me, we'll start with the exhaust. While I am a bit disappointed with the exhaust, like, without going too much into it, I kind of paid a premium price for the modifications that were done to the bike. There was like, this model is higher in Ks. They were selling a exact same year model, exact same bike, no modifications for the exact same price, with like less than half the kilometers. So I was kind of paid a premium for the modifications on the bike. I was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't an Austin Racing exhaust, but that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. And my experience with dealing with that. I do like the sound of the exhaust, I'm not gonna lie. It does sound really cool. It sounds great with the baffle in, sounds even better with the baffle out, and it just sounds obnoxious with the muffler completely off. I will be making a video when I get the chance of me taking it out onto the road without the muffler on it. It's just a matter of me doing it, that's all. But I really like the sound of the exhaust. I've heard videos of the CB and CBRs with like the Acropovic SC project and like a few other brands of exhaust that we really don't get here, and like, I'm sure there's probably oh gosh, I'm sure there's probably a difference in the sound when you hear them in person, but here in video, like, it doesn't really sound any different to me. I don't know how, like, obviously I've heard what the bike sounds in videos, like my bike, but it's always kind of hard to tell like how that translates in a video. Oh my god, I hate this thing. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell how to translate, but the exhaust for me sounds amazing. I love the sound of it. Wow, those lights are bright as. What car is this, man? How do I get your lights? Oh, it's a truck. I was gonna say, I want your lights on my car. Or even on the bike. Imagine a light that bright on the front of a bike, it would blind everybody. So that speaks for that. The mirrors, I know that like those stealth little winglet style mirrors are like all the rage now, and I'm not gonna lie, I very seriously considered buying them because they look amazing. However, I've just seen like too many people talking about how they can't see properly, they can't see well. They can't see well through them. I mean, and it's not a surprise, like the mirror itself on it is tiny. These mirrors I can see fine. I did rotate them inwards, so it did, like when I got the bike I could see like they were rotated out and I could see through them perfectly straight away. Obviously I had to adjust for like my height and stuff like that, and my riding position, but apart from that I could see through it, no problems at all. When I did rotate them inward for a slimmer profile, mainly for when I'm trying to lane filter, it did take me a few, like a bit of a few rides to sort of get it in the right position, but I can see no problems through both mirrors. Like if like where I was just positioned just then, if I wanted to look in my left mirror, like I can see for the most part, but I just kind of have to straighten my elbow just a little bit just to be able to see like if there's anything like really behind me. Like I can see if something's behind me, but this is to check if there's something really behind me. That's that. The other things that are done to the bike is it's got like the tank grips. Tank grips are tank grips. I don't know how do you review them. They hold me on the bike. So I guess that they're good. It says, I think that they're day and easy ones. So I mean, what do you say about them? You know what I mean? It's not like I'm hanging off them at a race, or hanging off the bike on a racetrack or anything like that. So I don't know. Like it's kind of hard to speak ill of them. Like I haven't really had to use them in a I haven't used them in a dire situation. Same with like the tail tidy and the rear seat cowl. They're not things that I have to use. Like I mean I have to take the seat off every now and then. And one thing I will say about it, so I'm guessing that this is another eBay or AliExpress or Temu special, I don't know. It is a bit fiddly. But I like it does the job. And it looks nice as well. That's obviously a plus. But the frame sliders again, like thankfully haven't had to use them, knock on wood, that what the hell, man. Hopefully I don't have to use them. Like I mean, I don't know, maybe I could use them as like, that's the thing, I was gonna try and use them as like foot pegs. You know how like Harleys and stuff have the foot pegs? Not foot pegs, like the foot rests. I was gonna try and use them as like foot rests. Why am I that unflexible? But again, yeah, like they do the job. They haven't had to do the job that they intended for, but it's good to have them while they're, you know, it's good to have them there. That is pretty much it for the modifications that are done to the bike. It's not tuned. I don't think the grips have been changed. I feel like that these are just the standard grips. One thing I actually did buy, this isn't for the bike, it's actually for my GoPro. So because I changed, I'm wearing my HJC at the moment, and because I changed between my HJC and my AGV a fair bit, it can be a bit difficult at times to like ensure that I've got the like the GoPro position right. Like I obviously do screw it in, put it back as far as I can, but I've 3D printed my mounts rather than buying them from chin mounts, so they, you know, they won't sit the same as most motovloggers their ones do. So what I ended up buying, and this I can link because I bought it over the weekend, Amazon actually sell like a GoPro action camera pack thing. Now Chin Mounts does sell this thing. I'm not sure how different it is, but it comes with like the little swivelly arm that you see on you'll know what I'm talking about. Like if you have been on the Chin Mounts website, you know the little the little J-bended mount that comes off the camera. So it comes with that, it comes with a few other little bits and pieces like that, but it also comes with the extension. So my camera used to sit right up against the mount itself. It doesn't do that anymore. So you guys might be getting hopefully getting a real nice POV. Let me know what you guys think of it. I will link that product again down in the description. It was like 20 bucks. It's so cheap, and like with Prime delivery it came the next day, so yeah, that's a bargain. Can't fault it. It does come with the tethers as well. The tethers I haven't fitted yet. Just checking my camera was still there and I'm not talking to myself. It does come with the tethers for the camera to like keep it in place and stuff like that. So definitely check that out if you are in the market for the accessory packs. It's not a sponsored video. It's not a sponsored video or an affiliate link. I just want you guys to save a bit of money and time, because like, especially if you're in Australia, like Chin Mounts I believe is located in Canada. They charge like $35 I think it is for the action pack. This was 20 bucks, came to me the next day. How can you go wrong? But apart from that, that's really it. I don't think there's really much else to sort of cover. So yeah, hope you guys did enjoy the video. Massive thanks to everyone. Recently we've hit a little bit over, at the time of me recording this video, we're a little over 400 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. Like, I can't even tell you how happy it makes me that like people are enjoying my content enough to subscribe and want to return to watch my next adventure. You know, especially like I said before, like I'm not you know, like the dudes in America who are doing the crazy highway racing and the big highway pools and stuff like that. I'm literally just recording my adventures to and from work, and you know, running around doing errands and stuff like that. So, and I'm just, you know, just talking about random stuff. So I can't thank all of you enough. Everyone who comments, everyone who likes, just viewing the video, and all the subscribers. Obviously you guys are legends as well. That was a red light. So thank you again for everyone. I can't wait to see what's next. We'll push for 500 next. Obviously that's probably still a while away, so that's okay. The goal we can work towards. But yeah, until the next video guys, what I'm going to do is, I know I said I was going to do this in another video. Actually no, I'm not going to do a bit of a time lapse, because coming up to where I am now there's normally a lot of traffic, and I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me sitting in traffic for 10 minutes. So what I will do is I will cut the video here guys. Thank you again to everybody who's recently joined the channel. I do have an Instagram. I will link it down in the description now. So if you are in the Sydney area and we can tee up a ride, I think that would be a lot of fun to make a bit of content filming with somebody, because as you can tell I ride by myself all the time. What's that song, Lonely? I can't remember who it was by. It was massive back in the early 2000s. Anyway, big thanks to everybody. I'll catch you again real soon for the next video. You've been awesome, and this has been another CB650R motovlogs video. Till the next one, guys. Stay upright. Take it easy.